Imagine a closeted ex-vangelical woman who creates atheist content, but also regularly attends church. I am that woman. Naturally, people probably wonder if my pastor ever says something so outrageously ridiculous that I want to wring his neck. Yes, as a matter of fact, this Sunday was one of those times. The sermon was all about how God has never changed and how he never changes his mind about anything. And of course, a set of cherry-picked verses were whipped out to support these statements. Malachi 3:6 says, I the Lord do not change. Pretty straightforward, right? Numbers 23:19 says, God is not human, that he should lie, not a human being, that he should change his mind. Then, this is the most popular verse. It's a solid assertion. Hebrews 13 verse 8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. I almost lost my shit. Several times, I thought to myself, if the devil is a liar, God is an even worse liar. If Jesus is God and God is Jesus, the original law shouldn't have changed. The New Testament shouldn't have been written decades after Jesus supposedly died. However, the truth is, the Bible shows God changing his mind many times. Let's start with Genesis. God decided one day he'd create humans because what would an omnipotent being even do without people to worship him for eternity? But almost instantly by heaven's time, he regrets it. He no longer thought his creation was good. He made two naive people with the human instinct to do the opposite of what they're told. He created a talking serpent to tempt them. He knew their vulnerabilities and the built-in curiosity he gave us, and he knew that curiosity would lead to the fall of man. The eternal, worldwide curse for all of humanity. God orchestrated the entire event knowing, from then on, even newborns would be born evil. Next, he ultimately decided his first act of genocide would be to kill most of his creation with a flood. Everything he created was so awful and evil with the exception of one family and two animals of each kind, which we already know because God had already orchestrated and allowed all of humanity to be cursed for Adam and Eve's sin. This included killing innocent babies, animals, plants, insects, marine life, etc., and all people across the world who knew nothing of this Abrahamic God. People who had worshipped their own gods for eons, long before Christianity was a thing. So what about all the people who existed before Paul, or people who lived long before Judaism? Did those humans all go to the Christian hell even though they never knew about it? Anyway, why does this God even have the capacity to regret doing something he already knew he would do? So what else has God changed his mind about? In Exodus 32, the Israelites make a golden calf. God's ready to destroy them all, but Moses convinces God not to. And guess what? The Bible says God relented. So, Moses convinces God to chill instead of acting like the genocidal maniac he is. In Jonah 3, God tells Jonah he'll destroy Nineveh. But God changes his mind again, spares the city, and Jonah is left sulking because prophecy wasn't fulfilled. Or how about in 2 Kings 20? God tells King Hezekiah, you're going to die. Hezekiah prays and weeps like millions of other Christian people who do the same without any response from God. But guess what? He changes his mind for Hezekiah and adds 15 more years to his life. There's a strange story about a man named Balaam who was hired to curse the Israelites. God clearly believes the man actually had the ability to effectively curse people because he plays hella games with him. God changes his mind several times about what to do and settled on the decision to give a donkey angel vision so he could see the sword-wielding angel he sent to block the man's path. All God managed to do was to get an unfortunate creature 3 beatings from his owner who did not have angel vision. God gave the donkey talking powers, but the donkey just wanted to know why his master is hitting him. God eventually lets the man go away with the foreknowledge that Balaam would later carry out said curse on God's people. This story deserves its own video, and I have much more to discuss about it later. But for now, I digress. So you see, when my preacher says, God is the same today, yesterday, and forever, it can make sitting through church so frustrating. If you're being honest with yourself, you'll have to admit, even though the Bible says God never changes, I've just listed multiple instances where God does exactly that. Make no mistake, there are many more. But the question today remains, if God is supposed to be all-knowing and unchanging, and if the Bible is inerrant and inspired, why does it depict him changing his mind to appease humans in some parts, but also says he never changes in other parts? God clearly changes his standards from the Old to the New Testament. If God never changed, there'd be no Paul or Jesus. The New Testament wouldn't have been written 400 years after the Torah was complete. Without these changes, Christianity wouldn't exist, nor would the 40,000 plus denominations that all read the same book, but can't ever agree on what it actually says. So, does he change his mind sometimes or never at all? Since the Bible says both, either God is lying about himself, or could it be that these are just stories humans wrote? Logic alone should tell you, these were just ancient humans projecting human emotions and characteristics onto their version of an ideal God for that particular time and place. We can observe Christianity continuing to evolve in this way even today. Either way, the Bible cannot be trusted. A true God wouldn't regret, negotiate, or second guess, but I bet you can guess who does do that. Humans. What these stories show is an unhinged, wishy-washy, regretful, vengeful character who plays games with people's lives. The God of the Bible absolutely toys with free will. But that's another topic for another day. If you've learned something interesting from this video, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what topics I should deep dive on in future videos. It'd be greatly appreciated if you'd unleash the wrath of your inner God on the like button. And subscribe for more.